Hey guys, this is Zach Libby of the Wolverine.com, and we're back with another recruiting episode. Before we dive into this recap, I want to take a moment to remind everyone watching to subscribe to the Wolverine.com for just $29.99 up until the start of the 2023 football season. This deal lasts until August 31st, which provides you with insider team and recruiting information on football, basketball, the transfer portal, NIL, and more. Along with that, you receive access to our community message board over at the Fort. Everything that you need to stay up to date with your Michigan Wolverines this next 8 months. Again, just $29.99. In this video, we're going to be recapping the 5 biggest names at the Supermax 100 Midwest Invitational, which took place inside Ford Field on December 27th. This was an annual showcase put on by 2 nationally renowned training organizations in Sound Mind, Sound Body, which is based out of Detroit, Michigan, and National Players Academy, based out of Nashville, Tennessee. Sound Mind, Sound Body is a group widely familiar to Michigan fans because of its past alumni spending their college careers in Ann Arbor, including the likes of Will Johnson, Donovan Edwards, Rayshawn Benny, and Samaj Morgan. MPA has also enjoyed a close working relationship with Michigan over the years, thanks to co-defensive coordinator and defense backs coach Steve Klingscale, who's been recruiting the academy throughout his past coaching 10 years, with Michigan being no different. A couple notable players from MPA who are currently playing or are committed to the Wolverines are Junior Colson and 2024 on 300 linebacker Mason Curtis. Of the 5 that we're going to dive into today, 3 are from Sound Mind, Sound Body, and 2 are from National Players Academy. 2 are quarterbacks in the 2025 class, and 3 just released their top 5 lists of favorites with Michigan included, all of whom are considered to be 4-star recruits in their respective classes. The first prospect that we'll be talking about is rising sophomore quarterback Bryce Underwood out of Belleville High, which is situated less than 25 minutes from the Ann Arbor campus. Underwood is coming off yet another MHSA Division I state championship with his school and has already picked up one of his best offers to date in Ohio State, who hosted the number 4 All-Star recruit in the country for an unofficial visit this past month. At the Supermax 100 Midwest Invitational, that Tuesday was actually the first time that Underwood threw a football since the title game, taking the month off or so to rest and regain health in his shoulder. Underwood is also coming off 2 unofficial visits this past fall to Michigan for games, which occurred in late September against Maryland and later on Halloween weekend against Michigan State. The week after the Wolverines won its second straight Big Ten title, Underwood also received a visit at his school from quarterbacks coach Matt Weiss, who has greatly picked up an increased role of communication with the in-state dual threat gunslinger alongside Steve Klingscale, who's long recruited Underwood dating back to the foreigner's tenure at Kentucky. On the surface, it's great to see Weiss going out of his way to personally meet with Underwood and seeing that the co-offensive coordinator is making more of an effort on the recruiting trail. In past press conferences last year, Weiss has spoken about the transition to the college game from the Baltimore Ravens and the differences that entailed with finding additions to the roster. We know that Weiss doesn't have this extravagant personality like other assistant coaches at the Power 5 level, but his play calling with Sharon Moore this past season has really shaped how he's thought of by prospective quarterbacks, including Underwood, who believes Weiss is a great coach because of it. Underwood would tell the Wolverine at Ford Field that he also recognizes the amount of love that the Michigan fans have issued out on social media and in person. It's big for the sophomore to see that the local Big Ten school and its community wants him there so much. In terms of future visits, Underwood's going to take a methodical approach this offseason and really take it easy for some time. Outside of a few 7-on-7 events with Sound Mind, Sound Body, Underwood currently doesn't have anything scheduled unofficially to any school. The second prospect also happens to be a highly rated quarterback in the 2025 class in Lexington, Kentucky, Christian Academy 4-star Cutter Boley, who finished off 2022 by visiting Michigan a total of 3 times, including his most recent appearance for the Michigan State game. Boley has been able to reel in multiple growing relationships with those on the Michigan staff, including Steve Klingscale, whose family still resides in Boley's hometown, Matt Weiss, whose dedication to X's and O's and his philosophies are gravitating Boley a lot to the offense, and head coach Jim Harbaugh himself. At Ford Field, Boley described his debut in Arbor back in June, in which Harbaugh personally brought him and his family on a tour of the campus and facilities, indicating to Boley that one of the greatest football coaches this century has a relatable side to him, and the pedigree of respect that goes both ways from Harbaugh to his staff and to his players. When Boley was at the Michigan State game, He would call it the best college football atmosphere that he's ever been a part of, and has plans to make it back unofficially to Michigan this offseason. This month, Boley will make returns to Tennessee and Kentucky, two nearby schools that are going all in on the 6'5" and 208-pounder. In terms of where Boley stands on the quarterback board for Michigan, he has been told by the staff that he is one of the three options for 2025, alongside the aforementioned Underwood and Findlay, Ohio High 4-star Ryan Montgomery. All three are ranked in the top 50 among all sophomore recruits nationally and have visited Michigan at least 3 times over the years. Going back to the state of Michigan, as we shed light on 2024 Harper Woods High 4-star defensive back Jacob Oden, who publicly shared his top 5 that is Michigan, Tennessee, Iowa, Penn State, and Michigan State all in the running. Owen is who you would call a frequent flyer to Ann Arbor over the years, not just because of the proximity to campus from his hometown and his early offer, but also because of the family relationship that the Odens have had with Steve Clinkscale and the assistant's view of the 6'1" and 185-pounder as a top target. Owen just recently visited for a practice last month after being in attendance for 2 games last fall against Colorado State and Michigan State. For how many times that Owen has made the short drive to Michigan, the versatile secondary talent is confident that he has seen everything that the university can provide him on and off the field. When the time rolls around for official visits, Owen will be thoroughly examining the treatment that he and his family receives on campus during their extended stay. Owen is undoubtedly a must-land for Michigan this cycle. In coverage, I have seen countless times and have grown fond of his ability as a center fielder in the deep thirds. If Owen ends up being a safety in college, his IQ and ball tracking skills are going to earn him early playing time. Michigan also views Owen fitting in at either cornerback or nickel because of his showing to be a major contributor on run stuffing and be physical down near the line of scrimmage. Up next is 2024 on-300 linebacker Jeremiah Beasley, who also hails from the Metro Detroit juggernaut in Belleville High. Beasley would release a top 5 at the Supermax 100 Midwest Invitational, which featured Michigan, Tennessee, Pitt, Kentucky, and Michigan State. The ideal plan for Beasley, who's touted for his comfort in playing in space, sideline-to-sideline awareness, and thumper-like mentality in the trenches, will be for him to be verbally committed in mid-March, which just so happens to be his birthday too. The Wolverines landed on the top 5 because of his relationships with Steve Clinkscale, who's been like an uncle figure to Beasley, and linebackers coach George Hilo, whose fiery and passionate persona resonates with the 6'2" and 210-pounder. Beasley visited Michigan twice this past fall for the games against UConn and Michigan State. It's a family-type love, and the energy that's felt in Ann Arbor whenever Beasley visits is why he believes the fit would be perfect, outside of just his play style at the will spot. In terms of whether Michigan has a chance in pulling off the landing of the junior, I believe that this will come down to an in-state battle, with the Spartans holding an early lead. A big reason for that is because of the courting of the MSC's coaches and Beasley's older brother Malik Carr, who's currently on the Spartans roster right now. Having Beasley return for 1, maybe even 2 more visits these next 2 months will be a must in order for Michigan to keep its distance away from the rival from East Lansing. Last but not least is 2024 Chattanooga, Tennessee Brainerd 4-star athlete Boo Carter, who's the number 5 overall rising junior native to the state of Tennessee, according to the On3 consensus. Carter's announced top 5 is down to Michigan, Colorado, Tennessee, Ohio State, and Oregon. Examining the list of schools, it's obvious that most of them are very NIL friendly, but from the eyes of Carter, his main concern is finding a team that will prepare him both physically and mentally for the NFL. He wants to have a well thought out plan from these schools and how they can develop him best, that will suit him best to live out his dream of making it as a professional. When it comes to Michigan, Carter believes that Steve Clinkscale is the man for the job. Clinkscale is widely known for his sheer honesty and keeping it real with every recruit that established contact with them, and Carter is no different. As a 6'0" and 180-pounder, is one of the top defensive backs options for Michigan in the 2024 class, specifically at nickelback. Carter also has the versatility to play on offense at next level at either running back or receiver. But the secondary makes sense for Carter due to utilizing his frame, muscle definition, twitch, hip sinking, and downhill tackling. Carter plans on using all 5 official visits in the late spring and be verbally committed by the start of fall camp in August.